to September 2024's AMA with our founders, Dan and Noam. I will moderate this with ask the questions of the team. Of course, these questions have come from the community. They were prioritized by our steering committee during our first meeting. We have 5 questions that we'll answer today. And we'll add a couple of new details to a couple of releases that are happening in the near future as it relates to Trust.Supply. So let's begin with question number 1. This one is for Dan. And Marco asks, please explain how the reward system works. What was the decision-making for the flat 0.1 MNW rewards per transaction? And where does this come from? How does this payment from clients work?
Thank you, James. Thank you for setting that up. And Marco, thank you for the great question. I wanted to thank the entire community for putting these questions out. As James mentioned, we're going to answer the top 5 questions. So I wanted to put a special thank you to Robsy, as well as the entire steering committee, for working on these questions with the entire community and make sure that we bubble up the top 5 most essential questions to tackle for you guys today. And that's what we're starting with. So there's some other great questions as well. But yeah, let's start with this one initially. So the 0.1 MNW compensation for validation, getting the solution up and running in a production phase, we want to have predictable fees, especially at this point. We're still right now, we're handling the compensation ourselves for the master node holders. So yes, that 0.1 makes it so we can predict exactly what our fees are going to be and know that in advance. Nothing is set in stone though, right, with these sort of things. And that's why we have things like the steering committee and even community members who aren't part of the steering committee. They can speak to us directly or speak to the steering committee, and we can discuss these things as we go down the road. Not being set in stone, meaning that in time, we will be able to adjust the compensation structure. And I guess the second half of that question is, how is that MNW compensating to being compensated to the validators? Where does it come from, right? So obviously what we're doing is we're building a sustainable system. Sustainable solutions can be able to validate these transactions for eternity. So, I know right now, with us getting it up and running smoothly, we're using our own wallets. That's obviously transparent. We would never stock our own wallets by buying tokens off the market to, artificially manipulate price or anything like that, of course. Once we have the solution completely set up, running perfectly, connected the transactions, we're constantly building up with all our clients and partners and so on. That's when those revenue dollars coming in for our clients, we'll have to use a different type we're using in order to put these solutions out there. Technologies such as IoT, we're paying IoT providers, technologies such as using the blockchain on the back end with Trust.Supply. Again, the compensation model is MNW. We'll be paying for those services with fiat from our clients in order to get that done. So again, implicitly, where the tokens have to come from for a sustainable system, they'd have to come from the market. So that's exactly how the system will work. Once again, at this point, because we're compensating for ourselves, that it's not being bought from the open market, but that is in general where it will come in sustainable long-term vision. But thank you for that question, Marco. And things I wanted to let you know about, when it comes to when transactions ramp up, it's all to do with those clients and the actual validations we're doing for them. To give you an example, we did a ton of work for the government of Mongolia. That COO system is up and running. Fantastic solution. Now we can use that solution for other governments as well. We're just accepted right now to the All-In event. This is through Scale AI. The same guys that put us up in Viva Tech in France. We're going to be presenting in front of 3,000 different companies for the construction industry. There's only 5 companies that are presenting, 5 finalists, including Morpheus.Network. I just finished my deck today. It is killer, and I'm going to blow the roof off of this place. I cannot wait to be there. I'm hearing that's some pyrotechnics. It's going to be awesome. So I'm hoping 3,000 companies, at least half of them want to talk to us. So that'll be fantastic. Looking forward to that. And great questions. And once again, we're going to keep on growing it out, growing out to transactions, which is going to grow out the validations for the master nodes.
Okay. And this is where you'll be premiering Structure.Supply?
Yeah, exactly. So within Morpheus, obviously, we have a whole bunch of different solutions. For the construction industry specifically, the supply chain management solution for the construction companies is called Structure.Supply. A little double entendre on the name there. The structure they're building, they build these amazing structures, and also delivering structure to their supply chain as well. Pulling in all that data from different sources, creating a ton of automation, of course, and efficiencies. I'm excited to show them how we've done it with other amazing companies and how we can do it for their company as well.
Excellent. Thanks very much for that, Dan.
Anytime.
Question number 2. this one also from Marco. Why all of a sudden Polygon is too expensive? But I'll shoot this over to Noam on why that is.
Yeah, and thank you for the question, Marco. And before I answer, I wanted to give a shout out to James. James, you recently had a birthday not too long ago, so happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. One thing that's always true about the blockchain landscape is that it always changes very, very quickly. 3 months ago, the landscape looked very different than it will in 3 months from now. So Polygon was a chain that we selected back then. It's got fantastic scalability and security, and I'm a fan of its ZK rollups. And I think it served us well up until this point. Everyone has their favorite chain and their strong preference, but Polygon has been a good solution for us and for many, many projects. But, one of our philosophies has always been to be as agnostic as possible, meaning never to be married to one platform, one chain. And this is also true for our other technologies like IoT devices or whatever it is. As middleware, one of our advantages is it's very easy for us to adopt new technologies and change technologies or chains when we need to. Sometimes it takes a bit of work to make a change, but we can do that where and when necessary. Arbitrum has a lot of strengths as well. Low cost, they do some great roll-ups. But one other kind of philosophy of mine, I guess, is to go where the devs are. Meaning, I strongly believe that the blockchains that have the largest ecosystems, the most activity on GitHub, the largest number of contributors, those are the ones that typically do very well. And so, as James mentioned, Base is one of the ones we are looking at very closely at the moment. Base is relatively new, but it is seeing rapid adoption. It has native integration with Coinbase and the OP stack for optimistic rollups. And so it's something that we're looking at very, very closely. And we want to make a change relatively quickly. The only downside of Polygon has been the gas fees. So it is something that we are discussing, and hopefully we can announce a specific roadmap pretty soon. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, thanks very much, for that detailed answer. That a little bit more. All right, question 3. I guess I'll fill this one. About the quest starting early July, how many people are getting paid, and what will be the frequency of payouts? Thank you all for contributing to these quests and the gamification within Trust.Supply. We know it's taken a little bit of time to sort of get it right. Mr. V. Volo has orchestrated a rewards bracketing system based on the leaderboards. And we are going to announce that very shortly. We're just actually getting it as we speak. I'm going back and forth on it. I thought it was a little too light, so we're going to increase it a little bit. It's worth paying MNW out to get more traction in our socials. So we're going to be as generous as possible with that. So we're going to announce that very, very soon. And it will be, I believe, don't quote me on this, I think it's monthly. It won't be any longer. I mean, I don't think it makes sense to be monthly. But this is something we should take to the steering committee. We have another steering committee meeting coming up next week, and I want them to weigh in on this as well. I suspect they'll want to be, they'll think a month is okay. Let's talk about that amongst ourselves. But yeah, it'll be, we want it to be as generous as possible. We count on you, our community, to grow our socials. We've had amazing growth already since we started this. We've seen a lot more of our community members commenting, liking, and sharing our content. We're seeing a lot more positivity in the comments, which is good. It's always good. And we believe that is, and we see who's on the leaderboard. We know who you are. We very much appreciate you, and we will make sure that the rewards are in MNW, and they will be generous.
And James, can I jump in with another question, if you don't mind?
Yeah,
you mentioned thank you. You mentioned the steering committee, which is something I wanted to bring up. For those who don't know, we recently launched a steering committee. James, I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, for those who don't know, can you talk a bit about the reason we have that steering committee?
Sure. Yeah, no, of course. Our community has always been an intricate part of our leadership team, and we listen very deeply to them in channels. And there are, official channels that we have, and then there's unofficial channels. And it's in the unofficial channels that we were listening to the frustrations of not having enough input. So we went to some of our older OGs, the ones who've been around since the beginning, and we asked them in community and Discord if they would elect 5 representatives that they felt best represented our community and the initial, the whales, if you will, OGs. And that's who we have now on the committee. So it's those 5 plus leadership here. Mr. V comes in, and then we have Rob Z, of course, head of community engagements, head of admins, head of the Mojo. He is, he's our secretary on that committee and takes the notes. And we're trying to meet as regular as possible. We haven't set a cadence yet. I think we decide on every other week from the first meeting. So we have one coming up next week, I believe, because we took that break last week. But it's really important that we have community input and that the community feels like they're part of the decision process, part of the design, part of the architecture, part of the success story. Because we all are committed to the success of the company, and we can't do it without each other, right? We are a decentralized project at the heart of it. We're moving even more decentralized governance. So this is really a beta, if you will, for the next question, which is coming up about when will the DAO become a thing? And I'm going to shoot that over to Dan.
Nice. Thank you, James. Thank you. I'm not going to lie, you stole a little bit of my thunder with this DAO question, which I was expecting based on seeing the questions beforehand. But no, that's exactly right when it comes to the steering committee. And to be honest, I feel that, since 2017, we first started, gaining a community, we've listened to them right from the start and literally guided the project in certain directions in a positive way. We've had such great feedback from the community that's really helped us over the years. So the steering committee is just like that next level of those OGs that know us, know the project. They all have their finger on the pulse of the community as well. So it's in a sense, the steering committee is a representative of the actual community itself. So if you have any, great ideas, thoughts, marketing, even on a biz dev side, if you have an amazing company looking for, supply chain management, talk to the steering committee, talk to us. We want you guys to be a part of this, of course. And then going back to the actual question, when this started, I remember we first started, with our token sale back in 2018, and I made a video. We had a soft cap saying, okay, if we hit the soft cap, we're doing this. And when we hit that soft cap, I remember saying specifically, it's happening. It's happening. Decentralization of supply chain, that is happening. And how is that going to come into play? It's going to be to the governance of a DAO controlling their own destiny when it comes to this validation system, this masternode system, which you guys are a part of at the first steps of it, which is amazing. I'm so ecstatic to have all the OGs a part of it, and also all those masternode holders at this stage being part of this early solution. And then all those different clients we're bringing on, all the new partners we have, pushing validations across the board. You guys will be the early guys benefiting from all this as well. So super excited about that. And then once the DAO's up and running, you're actually controlling your own governance as well. Just makes complete sense, And even now, even though there isn't a formal DAO setup, when we make decisions, we're not making decisions willy-nilly. We're going to our specific representatives from the community, now the steering committee specifically, and making decisions as a group. And in time, it's be more formalized with the DAO structure as well. So timing-wise, obviously there's be some development involved with that as well, some regulatory work, some filings, and so on and so forth. But I'd expect it over the next year or so, everything will be wrapped up, and that governance will be in your hands. So thank you for the question. Excited to move ahead with that and move ahead with you guys.
No, but this is probably going to open up a Pandora's box of questions about how we're going to, set up governance. And please, we don't know yet. There are many ways. We're looking at all the successful structures out there. Some use LPs based on your holdings, right? Your total token holdings. Others have elected leadership. There's a lot of ways we can do this. We don't know yet. Yeah. When is the launch of Speed.Supply and the new website?
Gecko, thank you very much for the question. The new website. So a lot of people have been very patiently waiting for this new website, both within the company and outside of the company. It's been a long time coming, but today I can announce a definitive launch date, which is now. So the new website's online. So if you go to Morpheus.Network, refresh the page, you should be looking at a brand new website. We're very happy and pleased that it's now live and public. Please check it out. Take a look at our products and all the pages. Be sure to check out the online store. Grab yourself a nice hat or t-shirt or coffee mug. And we'd love to hear your feedback. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please do get in touch with us.
Or edits.
Or edits, absolutely.
Or edits. I'm sure you're going to find, if I know our community, I know they're going to find some mistakes, some typos, some mispunctuation or something.
I'm sure
that happens,
yeah.
Right? So please let us know. We can correct it on them.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the other part of the question was related to Speed.Supply. So we had a pretty significant shift where we took our main platform, our middleware platform, and we kind of divided it up into a series of small focused SaaS products. And the first one is called Speed.Supply. But we have a long list of additional SaaS products. We have Automate.Supply, Vision.Supply, Assessment.Supply, Validate.Supply. We have some amazing products coming up. And you can go to our new website and learn more about those products. But Speed.Supply is number one. And so in terms of the launch, we have a number of people working on it. We're hoping to launch that fully Q4, so certainly before the end of this year. And one thing that's very exciting about all these new SaaS products is that all the activity and transactions will then be piped through Trust.Supply, meaning that as we gain more customers and clients for these new products, it will increase the number of transactions that are going through Trust.Supply. So Trust.Supply is really an essential component to all of our new products coming out. So exciting roadmap, I think. And those are some updates on that.
Thanks very much. No, that concludes the 5 questions that we got from the community. There are a couple additional 5 questions here. One of it is a marketing question, which I'm glad to field. We have a little bit of extra time here. How are we going to encourage new validation or new validators? We don't necessarily need more than 6,000 total nodes at present, based on the amount of queries that we do per day. So I think it's important that we grow organically. We don't. This is important because the pie is only so big, and the rewards obviously need to be sustainable over long periods of time. So we're good with what we have, and we thank you very much for everyone's excitement and dedication to this project. We don't think that we need to. We want people to know that it's successful and that there's good APY and all that. But as it is right now, we are very satisfied with the amount of validators and the amount of nodes that are staked. So rest assured, we're not going to try to, dilute that anytime soon. We'll just let it grow organically. More data, we need more nodes. Simple as that. There is no cap, of course, on nodes. There never will be. Things have to scale in organically. Pretty much the steering committee for consolidating these together in the top 5. I think we'll convene our steering committee next week to work on the next issues, which will be around rewarding, around the gamification within for our social media bounties, and also work on what Trust.Supply 2.0 will look like in the hopefully the very near future as we continue to make improvements on that, and around the reward system.
And thank you guys. Also, if you're in Montreal next week, September 11th, September 12th, the all-in Scale.ai organized AI challenge. There's only 5 companies involved in that out of thousands that applied. We're one of the 5. So please, down in Montreal, myself and Noam are flying in next week. Come check us out. And if it's available virtually as well. You have to pay to watch that live, I believe. But hopefully it'll be available for free afterwards. Nonetheless, check us out. The presentation is going to be popping. It's going to be awesome. So
it's going to be awesome. As we unveil Structure.Supply, the latest solution for the construction industry.
Yeah, love it. Excited. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Noel.